Hi everyone. It was easier for me just to make a video to kind of talk to you about some of my notes. The first thing I did, after I went through all of your reflections, which were incredible, and it's always inspiring to me to do that, I did make some notes. And one of the things that some of you had some very insightful posts. So I pulled some of the things that I thought was really top notch and that I wanted to share when it comes to mentoring. And some of the things that you posted was the idea of listening. I don't think we can emphasize that enough, is that you have to be a good listener to be a good mentor or a good mentee. It goes both ways. And the other thing is that somebody wrote the passage of knowledge from one person to another. And I thought that was such a nice kind of a byline for mentoring. It's the passage of knowledge. It could go either way, and it should actually go both ways. When you're in a mentoring relationship, you should be passing knowledge to the mentee, and the mentee should be passing knowledge to you. You're learning how to be a better mentor. So that's part of the process. Somebody wrote a reflective partner. And I thought that was nice, because if you think of the mentor and the mentee, you both should be self-reflecting. So your mentor and mentee relationship could be a reflective partner relationship. I loved that. Somebody talked about a lifetime, having a mentor for a lifetime. A lot of times we'll call those proteges and then they turn into mentoring, but some of the most rewarding and valuable experiences you'll ever have is if your mentoring experience or mentee experience turns into someone that you trust and share for a lifetime. And there are people in my life that have impacted me so that are still a part of my life. Not in so much of friendship, but I trust them. And if I have a problem, they'll walk me through it. Those are nice to have. Everyone should have those. This was really incredible. Someone wrote that mentoring is all about leveraging relationships so that they can stand on their own. In other words, the one thing I don't like about mentoring is if we enable someone to not learn on their own. And I've seen that happen. So I liked it if you think of it in terms of you're taking this relationship and you're leveraging it so that the other person becomes independent, becomes self-reliant. What an incredible outcome for a mentoring. And I think it's critical. When we're talking about some of the things associated with mentoring as far as key components, never forget time. I don't care how trusting you are, how responsible you are, how dedicated, how hardworking you are. If you do not dedicate from the onset, enough time to devote to that relationship, none of the other factors matter. So never forget the value of time. So let me see if there's anything else. Somebody just talked about experience. And I think too often when we think of mentoring, we think of the mentor has to be either an older person, someone that's wiser, someone that has more experiences. And that actually doesn't have to be the case. I mean, it most commonly is. But there's reverse mentoring, which is someone who is actually probably has less experience of the two, but is more knowledgeable of a particular, say, a technology or something. So you'll see what they call reverse mentoring. But mentoring is all about the person that has the experience passing it on to someone else. So it doesn't have to be an age thing. It doesn't have to be an intellect thing. Focus on the fact that it is back to someone has the ability to help someone else, and it's possibly experienced. So that's kind of my self-reflection, as you will say, and reaction to what you wrote in your posts. I absolutely love them. Now, a couple things I want to talk to you about as far as then the content. I mean, that's kind of the content of the post, but now I want to talk about the procedures for posting. One is, please make sure you're citing your work. You should be reading your text, and you've also got the video by Garvey and different resources all through Blackboard. So cite your materials. Those of you that are in 595 master's level, and some of you are 695 doctoral level, I am going to have really high expectations for those of you that are doc students. Do not hand me anything that doesn't have a cover sheet, that is not cited in APA correctly. Those are my expectations. I expect you to be more insightful. You're at the doctoral level. So while the assignments are the same, my expectations will be different. And that's one of the reasons I've divided it out, so I know who's doctoral and who's master's level. That doesn't mean that I'm going to cut you a lot of breaks if you are at master's level, but I will be somewhat lenient because I know that you're learning the process. So please make sure that you are stepping up to the plate and demonstrating to me that you have professional, technical, and scientific writing capabilities. So any of these posts, if it is your thoughts, then say it's your thoughts. If you're taking that from someone else, you need to cite the source. And I can post for you, I can share with you a document I just shared with a couple of my other classes about how to cite from Blackboard. And that might be a good tool. So I'll email that out to you, or I'll post it in the Blackboard site, or I'll do both. And let me see what else I wrote. Let's see. I think most of the stuff I've covered. I'm checking my notes to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Share experiences, paper uploaded. Make sure you have cover sheets on all of your papers. I expect that from everyone. And please make sure that you're citing, again, in your papers as well. APA format, you do not write in third person or first person, you write in third person. So I've graded everything in the course, but there's 3 of you that have turned in your papers, your mentoring papers based on your reflections. I haven't graded those because I want you to watch this video to make sure that you might need to resubmit. So keep in mind that at APA, you are not saying I. I'm somewhat lenient in the reflections, and you can do that. However, when you are submitting a paper to me, it is in APA format, and at no point are you going to say I. You are going to write it in third person APA. So if you uploaded it and you failed to do this, correct it and resubmit it for me. I'll give you, I'm not going to start grading those papers. In your whole course, I only have 3 papers to grade. I think I've got everything covered. So this at least should catch us up and get us on the same page. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and thanks so much for the wonderful posts. They were absolutely wonderful, and I enjoyed reading them.